Here we are, here we are, here we are. And I know you could tell by the title, spiritual word salad. Don't eat that. And we about to get into it. We about to go up there with it. And we must dive. If we don't, then there shall be rainings upon rainings of thunderous occurrences by where which ergo the situations will carry themselves out to a certain extent in which people will be able to behold those extenuations. It's the same thing that the nigga did on one of the, I think the Wayne brothers, whoever the nigga was, that came out and was showing how the Hotep community, as they wound up calling them eventually, or the woke community, all these people will use certain words, and they know they don't even understand what the words mean. However, their delivery, a lot of times the charisma, certain things like that, they know that that will help them sell whatever it is they selling. So we're about to get into it. What is a word salad? We got to start there. What is that? Where does it even come from? Why do people say that? Okay, what is a word salad? When you think of a salad, you think of a whole bunch of ingredients thrown together, literally, in a bowl, all right, where you put certain toppings and, you got various different veggies and sauces and seasonings, all kind of stuff like that. So it's similar to what the word is saying. It's just with words. So you have people who will take ingredients that they think people like, throw them together, and those ingredients will be presented as different forms of ideas and things like that, and we'll get into that. So we know what a word salad is just by looking at the word, but just to be exact, it's ideas thrown together. Why though? To create the illusion of substance. Now, we're using that word loosely because, again, we're going to have to get into that word another time, right? Well, let's just keep it for now. Ideas or words, we put words on top of that just to be sure or certain. Ideas or words thrown together to create the illusion of substance, meaning there will be a lot of things that this person is saying or these people are saying, and there's an illusion that is created. People say, this must be deep, especially if they're using all these words. They must know what they're saying. Sometimes people will use big words. If you see people just use a whole bunch of big words, sometimes that's a word salad. Not always, because sometimes those words really do have meaning and they add to the point, or they lead you to that center, which is the point, if you know what those words mean. If you don't know what those words mean, all right, it could be on purpose, but a lot of times that's what they call jargon, all right? So sometimes people will do that on purpose to either mislead you, or it's because it's supposed to go over your head. They're only talking to who they're talking to, all right? So jargon, a little way of saying jargon is like saying secret speak, okay? Or you call it seek speak if you want to, but secret speak or seek speak. Secret speak is jargon, okay? Now, again, somebody can use that to be intentionally facetious, all right, saying they don't really want someone to understand what they say, so they're trying to talk over their head and they don't want a point to get across. Or in that same type of manner, they will be doing that, but it's because it's not for you. A lot of the Masons use jargon. A lot of Masonic speak, a lot of the codes that we were given, all that, a lot of that is jargon if you want to use it in that way. Another method would be conjecture, or what you'll see people use when they're doing a word salad. You have conjecture, and conjecture comes from a word that means to guess. All right, so when somebody putting up a guess, like in Quran or the Quran, where they said that people believed that Jesus or Isa was crucified on the cross, but they said no, they did not crucify him, they did not kill him. It was only made to be that. There's something or someone else, a wonder was done, and someone else was put in the place of Jesus or Isa, and he wasn't crucified, is what they said in Quran. I think it's sort of 4:157. You go check me out on that. All right. But either way, they were saying that everybody who says that he was crucified, they're only speaking conjecture. They don't really know. They're speaking because they're guessing. All right. They don't have the truth to speak. You with me? So whoever these beings were, if it was the angel or Malaika Jibril or Jibril that was saying that, they were saying that whoever came out and said Jesus was crucified, they didn't know what they were speaking about. They were only guessing. You understand that? So a lot of times when people are talking, and especially if you got a forum, which a lot of people, if you pay attention, especially in these types of communities where they're grifting and benefiting off of people's ignorance, you will realize that they don't have a forum that's set up like this. Q&A. Okay, that's another thing to look out for. They don't want people to question them. And anytime they got somebody coming out to challenge and question, they attempt to avoid that one, because not only do they not want to deal with whatever types of questions that they done already seen this one hit people with, they don't want to deal with that. They also don't want whoever this one is that will be coming in with these questions to encourage other people to do the same, because then they'll have to adjust their forum. They'll have to adjust their format. And if they have to adjust their forum, their format, or their platform, then they can stand to lose currency. Okay? And people are afraid to lose currency. You with me? This is why I tell you, make sure you're paying attention, actively paying attention, because you need to be able to detect it. You also need to be able to protect yourself from it. You understand? So let's talk about some types of protection, protective measures. Protective measures. Okay, something that can help you protect yourself from having to consume a word salad, which means you ain't eating nothing. And don't eat that. Don't eat nothing, or don't eat vanity. Don't eat something that doesn't have substance. Okay, or don't eat something that doesn't have sustenance. You understand that? So how could we protect ourselves if someone is speaking a whole bunch of words and we know they don't know, or we're trying to see whether or not, what's the main thing? Here's what we do. We start to ask those questions immediately. Here's the first question you can ask. What is the projection? What is the projection? Right? What's the projection? Plus, what is this person's willed or expected reception? So what are they projecting to me? Because when they speak, they're going to project, literally starting with the voice, their thoughts, okay, are materializing, if you want to call it that, which we just went over thoughts and matters, so there's a whole other thing. But they're pushing forth or projecting in this reality, all right? And there's a projection of a thought that we're supposed to be taking in, so there's a reception of that. You understand? So what is the projection? What is it that they're pushing out? And not only what are we supposed to receive of it, what are they expecting our reception to be like? Okay, do they want us to be silent, not asking questions, not thinking anything about it? Do they want us to apply it? Do they want us to sign up? Do they want us to be happy? Do they want us to be sad? What is the expected reception? And a lot of times you can just look at the point of reference from where this is coming from, whatever the projection is coming from, and you can pay attention to the projectile or the trajectory of the projectile, where that idea is being sent. A lot of times you can literally uncover what is this person's projection and what are they expecting the reception to be by paying attention to the demographic. You understand? If somebody is standing in front of a whole bunch of elderly people talking about how time is limited and people need to take care of their health, and you never know because it could be then they're talking to that demographic. You understand that? For that reason, because they know that these people are looking into that time and life insurance and things like that. So they'll go over there and they'll pull from those people, knowing that that is, again, that demographic that will be most affected by that particular idea. You understand that? So what is the projection? What are you sending out? What is the expected reception? How do you want me to feel about it? How do you want me to respond? How do you want me to receive whatever it is that you're pushing out to me? You understand that? Another thing that you could look at, okay, because just because somebody shows up with a word salad, it doesn't mean that that was their initial response, or not even response, their initial plan. Sometimes it is a response. You understand that? Meaning sometimes they were challenged. So let's say I stand up in the crowd and I ask whoever this is presenting this idea or this projection a question. And then they have to respond, but they don't have the answer to the question. So what will they do? Oftentimes they'll sway away from it or stray away from it, and they won't deal with whatever is being actually asked. So then your thing to ask is, what is it that led to this response? What led to this response? If you're dealing with a response, because again, sometimes they'll lead with it, but sometimes if you pay attention, the stimulus okay, causes for them to respond a certain way. A lot of times, what you're seeing as a word salad is a response to stimulus, meaning that something happened in the environment and they had to protect themselves in some way. So one of the ways they thought they could protect themselves or their identity as they think they have, or their reputation or whatever, their ego, and we'll get into that, however they thought they needed to protect it, they pushed out a word salad for whatever that protection was supposed to be for. You with me? So what led to this response? Why are they doing this? And if they've been challenged and now all of a sudden it seems like they don't even have a point anymore, okay, well then maybe either that challenge threw them off their game, whatever game they were attempting to play like they had initially, or that challenge just uncovered what they were hiding from the beginning. There was no center. There was no point. And when there's no point, that leads you, again, you have to ask yourself, what is the point? You understand that? One of the ways that you, as yourself, if you're a speaker or an orator, can avoid the word salad is you'll see me do it often. I'll make sure that if I'm having a conversation with somebody and they come up on my live, or we out in public, or you see me in person do it, and we're talking and we're talking and we're talking, what I do is I make sure that whoever I'm speaking to has their attention fixed on the point, whatever the point is. So in order for you to what? Stick to the point. Here's the things you got to do with that point. You got to stick to the point, okay? In order to stick to the point, you would have had to get to the point. That makes sense? And in order for you to get to the point, what you got to do? You have to have a point. And you want to know what the point is of what I'm saying? A lot of these people do not have a point, and they're making up for the fact they don't have a point. If you don't have a point, you don't have a purpose. You understand? If you don't have a purpose, you don't have, where's the direction? If there's no purpose, there's no direction, there's no point. None of these things, if they're not present, then that means that whatever it is that you're doing is aimless or is pointless. You understand? You have the drifter mentality. Once you have that definiteness of purpose established, you're going to find a point. All right, you're going to establish that point, and then you're going to know where you're going no matter what conversation you're having, because all of it has a point. There's a purpose for all of it. So when someone is talking to you, you need to be asking yourself, what's the point of this? I'm not saying that every time somebody's speaking, every few words, you got to jump in and say, yo, what's your point? Okay, that's for me to do. All right, I'm saying when you're listening to someone speak, especially when they're selling you things, because someone's always selling you something, remember what I'm telling you. Here's a key. All right, don't forget this key. Key is what? Something is always being sold. Those are not typos or rightos. Something is always being sold. All right? And if something is always being sold, then there's currency involved. So what's the biggest currency on the internet? Here you go. Attention. You understand? And when you tell somebody, yo, pay no attention to this or pay no attention to that, you best believe there's going to be a conversation that has to be had at that point, because a lot of people are going to be hurt. Their pocket's going to be hurt. Their brand's going to be hurt. So if you tell it, yo, don't pay attention to that these people are lying to you, they're making it up, that da-da-da-da-da, they're going to have hatred towards whoever that person is, because you're affecting whatever their business is. Okay, so you got the main one. I put a star right here. The main form of currency, especially on the internet, is attention. Then you have respect. That's another one. You have time. Maybe say time is money. Time is another one. You got recognition. You can say recognition. If someone is recognizing what you're doing, that's currency. People literally sell that. And some people manipulate people with that. They'll make you think they're recognizing you, but in all actuality, they're attempting to buy their way in. Either buy their way into your emotion, buy their way into your mind, or place you somewhere in their mind so that you could at least appear to them as significant or insignificant. All of that recognition stuff sometimes is a trick. Okay, now all of these can be manipulated or used for good or positive or negative or bad. You understand? But you have to know that that is one of the main currencies, attention. And you also have to understand that something is always being sold. So when someone opens their mouth to speak, including right now, you have to know what is being sold. Is phase one selling me a product? Does he have a Cash App pinned, or what's actually being sold at the end of the day or at the end of the live? And then you have different products that are being sold in between. It could be an idea. It's not always something that's physical as you call it or tangible as you call it. Okay, again, there's another degree. But sometimes just somebody is selling you a concept. Somebody is selling you a resolve. Sometimes somebody's selling you access. Sometimes somebody's selling you philosophy, ways that you're supposed to think about things or go about taking on endeavors, whatever it is. But something is always being sold. And you need to understand that, especially when you're dealing with these people who stand in here and they got people changing a whole life around just because you clicked on somebody's video and they gave you an idea or they said it with authority or conviction, all right, or the charisma was there or the orator ability was there, that skill was present. So now you're just listening to everything that they say. You understand? So these are some of the protective measures, okay? Look at these people, ask these questions. All right. And you don't have to ask them to them, but you're asking yourself these questions. Once you ask yourself these questions, then you're in a better position to move forward. All right. So we got our word salad foundation. What's the word salad foundation? And y'all make sure y'all have your questions too at the end. All right. What are some of the methods? What are some of the methods? How do they use this? How do some people, because listen, most people really do the word salad thing when they in certain positions. You got to know where you'll see that. Here's, first of all, let's deal with where, okay? And then we'll get to some of the methods. Where? Where will you mostly see the word salads being served? Okay? You'll see it where you find politics. If you look around and you see politics, you might be standing in the middle of a word salad. If you're at a seminar, possibility the word salad is being served, you might as well just go ahead and check the table, check the lineup is there. If you're in a church, okay, your word salad is being served, especially the pastor understands this, okay? They go to school to learn this, all right? Any type of group setting, all right, let's just say groups. Anytime you're listening to a podcast, okay, or a live stream like right now, all right, then there's a chance that word salad will be used. Now, you need to know whether or not certain ingredients even apply to you, okay, instead of just taking in everything that someone is saying and thinking that just because they're sitting in that seat of authority, then this must be received. I must take this in. I must do this thing. Okay, you ever notice they do little tests, all right, where they have some people sitting in a room and then they got somebody walk in and the person's wearing a suit or they look like they're some official person and they telling people to do stuff and people just do it. They don't ask for a badge. They don't say, yo, what are your credentials? Why should I be listening to you? And you out here listening to people and you haven't asked them, first of all, where did you come from? What's your badge? Talk to me about why should I be listening to you? Not why should I, because a lot of people try to play this game. Oh, they don't got to do what I say. Okay, first of all, not about just whether or not they're doing what you're telling them. Why should they be watching you? Why should they add a view? Why should they give you currency in that way? What's the purpose? Why should they expose themselves to any of the rhetoric points? All right, the jargon, the conjecture, whatever. Why should they expose themselves to that? What do they stand to benefit if they endeavor in that regard? A lot of people don't know to ask these types of questions, and they scrolling and they scrolling and they're scrolling and they're not protecting their mental. You understand? And this is what I'm encouraging people to do at that point. Protect your mental. When you go into certain environments and you see that there's an authoritative figure and a figure of authority standing there teaching and speaking, whatever it is that they're doing, you need to be asking what's being sold. You need to be asking, who is this person? Even if you have to literally ask that person, who are you? Where did you come from? Why are you here? What's the purpose or what's the point of all of this? You understand that? So you get into the where. Now, that's just a few of them. You'll have that. It could be anywhere. That's why I put that group there. Anytime you have a group of people gathered together and somebody's the authority figure, okay, then there's a chance that word salad is being served. Why am I telling you this? Or why would phase one take the time to speak and tell you this? Doesn't phase one do lives? Doesn't he do group settings? Doesn't he? Exactly. And I also don't want to be the only person that has authority. I never taught that. I never wanted to be the only person that was elite. When I wrote the book, How to Speak Elite, which is why I prepared you for all of these types of teachings that are coming out now. How to Speak Elite was saying, yes, I am elite, non-debatable. I won't debate you. Elite don't have time to debate whether or not we're elite or whether or not we're elite. But I'm telling other people they are elite too. And if they want to change the mentality that they have, okay, to change the reality they're experiencing, so that they can experience it on more of an elitehood standpoint or basis than they can. If they don't want to, then that's on them. Guess what? They're still elite because they can make that decision. The elite can make the decision. If you were dealing with elite and you thought elite meant riches or wealth, you could say, okay, then the elite can give away all of their riches and they can decide that they're going to be poor. That's an elite decision. The elite can decide whether or not they get in a car that day or they ride a bike. Okay, so it's that abundant mentality, if you want to use that word, all right, or that mentality that says, I am not a victim of reality. I am in control of what's happening. So I never taught people that they were just under me or waiting for me to spit so they can drink. And no, it's all about people taking on their ownership, all right, of their reality. Own your reality. When I was going through my struggle and I was homeless, I owned my struggle. All right. When people say things about what you're doing, the money thing, I own that. Notice that the things that people think they're exposing me for, I put out. I expose it. They say, he raises money. You mean publicly? Yeah, I did that publicly. He wears the Mason hat. Yeah, you mean publicly? There's nothing that you can expose about the person, for one, other than what the person has put out. And he does a great enough job of exposing himself and telling people that's what it's all about. Make sure you're standing on truth, no matter what people are doing, no matter what their game is, no matter what their plan is or their thing is, you stand on truth. You understand that? So that's why I will be telling y'all all of this, because I want you to know these things. I want you to question me. I want you to not only question me and know all these things. I want you to be able to make the decision of how you're going to maneuver through the realm. Once you know how to form a word salad, okay, how to properly use jargon and get things done if it's needed, or how to detect that word salad is being used on you, now you stand in a position, as long as you have integrity, all right, to make this world a better place, okay, without being too cliche. Make this world a better place. The same manipulation tactics that these demons use, as you call them, or these devils use, or these satans, these ops to order use, you can use similar tactics, but you can use them with an ethic code or a moral compass at the center of your actions. You understand that? So where? Politics, church, group settings, podcasts, live streams, phone calls, whatever. When someone you go to a car dealership, wherever, you have to know what's the point, what's being sold. And I was taught by one of my teachers, his name was Dr. Hagins, or his name is Dr. Hagins. All right. He used to teach me this thing called ABC. ABC. All right. And it was an interesting thing. He said, always be selling. And it was funny. We would laugh at it. Like, that's not an S, but you get the point. Because even that is something. Always be selling. No matter what's going on, you want to be in position to sell what's happening. Whatever ideas that are in your brain, you need to form realities with them. You already do it. You just do it on a certain scale. That's my point. You start doing it on an elite scale, you'll start seeing changes. You wake up in the AM and you say, I'm hungry. You understand that? That idea goes from your brain into action, and then you go and get you some food. You see what I'm explaining to you? So always be selling. That way you'll also know when the fuck you're being sold to. Study sales. When I was selling cars, I had to study the salesperson's Bible. I think is what it's called. John Abate, the man who owned the dealerships, okay, he also did a book and taught all about that. And Dr. Malachi York had The Stranger's Secret, where he taught all about that. You want to know all about sales, okay, because I was an auto sales consultant. So when somebody wanted to buy a car or come and get a car or whatever, they had to go through us. We were the ones that called auto sales consultants. First of all, we weren't even just called car salesmen. That was another thing that we were taught, that the reason why we were called auto sales consultants was because, listen, if you want to do business with one of these two, which one you going to do business with? The auto sales consultant or the car salesman? They both literally do the same thing. But that was another gem within itself, how something is presented. So I came in it, I literally graduated high school and I went right into selling cars. So I came in it thinking, okay, I'm about to learn this, do this, get this money, make these changes, woo, get the family into the house, all this other stuff. Had to stop working there at after like 3 months, okay, which was enough time to get an apartment, all of that. Family was homeless, went through all that. But I had to stop working there. Why did I stop working there? Not because the money wasn't good, the money was great. I had to stop working there because I realized I was being trained on how to lie to people. You see what I'm saying? Now, anybody who knows this, all these niggas do. They lie. I watch because we have to take it to the desk. So after we go and talk to somebody in our office and we do our whole speech, we literally had a whole script. And the script was set up in such a way that it seemed as though, you're having a normal or a common interaction with somebody. No, everything that they were telling us to say, literally the moment you walk onto the lot, when somebody speaks to you and greets you, that shit is a part of the script. And we got different ways that we can greet you. So that's in our bag and we can pull out that. So when we take them from the lot into our office and we got the information and all this other stuff and what they wanted, what they were looking for, and we needed to get them a raid or whatever, we go into the financial manager's office, we talk to them, we talk to the general manager, we talk to them. They will always raise them up. They would hit them with stuff. I'm like, yo, they're not asking for that. They asking for this. They want the wheel package. They want this, the bells and whistles. I already got everything. I wrote it down. They say, yeah, but the customer never knows what they want. So give them this instead, offer them this and raise it all the way up that way so they can come down. You see what I'm saying? So we were being taught how to lie, how to manipulate negatively. And I didn't want to do that. This was taken away from my humanity because it was so many times where the people like, yo, and one of the general managers was like, you're not going to be able to do this because you're a people person. You see what I'm saying? You want to work with people, but you don't understand these people they're dollars. You got to get the money. You ain't gonna get no money if you just want to just please people or people pleasing and all this other stuff. You understand that? So again, always be selling. Learn what sales are, okay? So that when you see it, you'll know it. And something is always being sold. So then the only thing at that point is you being able to determine the degrees of selling. Okay, you'll see what types of things are being sold and you'll start being able to differentiate between those types. You understand? All right. Let's get into some methods and then let's get into some causes. What's the cause? Why are people using it? Because a lot of this stuff goes back to survival. It's primitive. Okay, so let's get into some methods. This method I call dumb. DOM. Now, why is it called that? It's short for dominate. All right. So when people are talking to you and they stand in these seats, especially when they done worked up a reputation for themselves or built up a reputation for themselves and they don't want to lose it and they want to maintain that authority or that author right, as I explained in my older schools, author right, the right to author, the right to have that pen and say, be and it is, or this is how it is written, this is how it shall be, okay, or whatever the ibis or the wisdom allows for you to write into existence. They don't want to lose that. You understand? So it's all about dominating, all right? Dominating is a method. So you have dom, and the first part of that will be distraction. Okay? Yo, I've noticed that you said this, da, 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 da. I didn't really like that because this, and this. Distract that person. Immediately their mind goes distract. Okay, so to distract that person, and one of the ways that we were taught to do when we were selling cars is somebody makes a complaint, then you highlight all of the good things that they had already said, and then you try to convince them that they're not going to let something that's a smaller percentage after you done already got them to, or after you've gotten them to agree with all of the greater things. You try to convince them or you get them to agree with the fact that they're not to let a small percentage of that overall percentage determine or cause them to make a decision not to buy, or so that you don't close the sale. You understand that? So a lot of people will distract you. Once you already say, yo, this is a problem, this is an issue, that will be a distraction. They'll start talking about other things that either they'll appeal to your pathos or get you emotionally involved or whatever, and da-da-da-da. And the next thing you know, the thing that you were initially concerned about, you done put that in the back of your mind. And it may not have been a small problem. It may have been a huge problem, but they convinced you that it's a small one. You understand that? You know how many people done bought cars just based off that method alone, right? And they drive it off the lot, and then 2 weeks later, the car breaks down. But this person done sold you on it, even though you said, yo, that engine light is on. No, that's always been there. This happens. Remember, we talked about this. You like that, right? You like that, man. Don't pass this up. Because that can be fixed. Da 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 da. Another time. You can come back later. Woo woo. This shit don't even make it to be able to come back later. You see? So distraction is one of those methods within that dumb method. You understand? You want to know another one? Obfuscation. You say what? Obfuscation. And what is that? It's saying I'm going to intentionally, on purpose, confuse or mislead a person. You understand that? My intention is to misguide you. So I'm going to say things that I know this is going to be misleading. But I already know the meaning of these words and all this other stuff, so I'm going to say it anyway because I want this person to be misled because that benefits me. You see what I'm explaining to you? So I'm going to obfuscate them. You see? So you can distract somebody, you can obfuscate them. That should always put me up. Distract them, obfuscate them, and then another one is just a simple, which all these, if you pay attention, is like the Hermetic principles. They work into one another. Manipulate or manipulation. Manipulation. So these are three of the main methods that some people use or most people use when they're employing word salads or using or serving word salads. You understand? So one of the main things you can do when this happens is still stick to your gun, which your gun is the question. All right? The beauty of it is you can train yourself with experience and over time. It don't even have to take that long. Train yourself that once you ask a question and someone dances all around it, go back to the question. All right? Ask them again. You say, listen, I didn't get an answer to my question. I thank you for the information that you provided. Da, 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 woo, woo. Here's my question. My question still stands. This, that, and that. And if they dance again or they use any of these methods, let them. And then come right back to your question and stand on that and say, okay, here's the situation. This is what I'm asking. Okay, y'all have been paying attention, right? Y'all see me do these lives. All right, I stopped debating so long ago, and I think it's clear why I don't debate. Okay, when you see what just happened recently. I don't debate because people be dumb. Simply. Oops. People be stupid. So if they have a stupid crowd with them, guess who wins the debate? The stupid crowd and the stupid person. That's why I tell you, listen, the idiots are winning. So I don't be doing the debates. But if I were to do the debates, and if we were to do it how debates are actually done, okay, the right way, the proper way, with etiquette and decorum and moderated, you'll be able to see there's a way that you can merit whether or not someone is actually winning the debate. And if somebody is using deflection, they don't have their points, they don't have their arguments in order, all of that stuff, if they resort to what's called ad hominem, y'all might have heard people say that. Okay, different communities have adopted it as their own. I'm not going to say too much. But y'all hear people say ad hominem. This word ad is like saying act. Go look it up literally. And then you have homin. That word homin right there is human or homo. Okay, saying a man. Ad homin, meaning you stop dealing with whatever that point was when someone asked a question or they present an argument. Okay, you stop dealing with that or you don't deal with that. You completely deflect. And what do you go at? You go at the human or the person. And that's what you literally get etymologically when you look at ad hominem. You say towards or at a person or at the person. You understand? So y'all seen people do that too. I done stumped them, asked them a question, and said, cite what you just said, prove what you just said. Matter of fact, I got other evidence that says otherwise, what do you got? They'll say, man, nigga, you be raising money. You take money from people. Or, you got on a Mason hat. Or you be calling people names out. Okay, after you're done with all of that, still deal with what I just presented to you. Okay, but their thing is they know a lot of times that provides that entertainment, that drama that people crave. So then people themselves, because they just crave it naturally, a lot of people, they'll lose the point themselves. And they'll think that now you're the deflector because you won't address something that has absolutely nothing to do with the point that we're speaking about. So sometimes it's a burden, especially in settings like that, where you're able to stick to the point. That's a burden. Because if you're stupid, then you'll look like the victor. If you don't have a point and you just say a bunch of words and you're able to pull on people's heartstrings or whatever, then you'll look like you're in tune or tapped in. The moment you're able to stand firmly on your square or on your circle, you look crazy when someone's dancing all around. Why? Because they're dancing, they showing off their moves. People don't understand. This is not a dancing event. But now people are so distracted and entertained, they done forgot what they're there for. So a lot of people will still resort to things like that, ad hominem. So if they do that, and you don't ask them a question, they start talking about your shoes and all this other stuff, let them. And then you come right back to the point. Eventually, people may evolve to be able to understand that that is not a demerit. You understand? That's not a deficit. That's something that is an addition. It's a plus. Okay, when people can do that, it's a good thing, a great thing when someone can say, this is the point, we're going to stick to it so that we can find common ground and move forward. All right, how are we going to move forward if we can't even deal with why we're here? If we're here to get this door unlocked and you want to talk to me about the color, you want to talk to me about when it was built, all this other stuff, we still have a mission. Okay, and our objective or our mission is to get this door unlocked. We need to find the keys. And if we're not doing that, then we're wasting time, for one. We stand to lose the opportunity that's behind the door, for two, and on and so on and so on and so on. So watch out for the dominating method. You understand? Watch out for people who want to distract, people who want to obfuscate, people who want to manipulate. Watch out for all of that. You understand that? And it's not hard to detect it. Watch. After you've seen this video, after you've seen this live, and those of y'all who watch this replay, you're going to be able to detect it better. You understand? You'll have the point of your mind. Say, where are we actually going with this? When someone walks up and says, extra, extra. You see this? Y'all seen it when we was younger? Extra, extra. And what they'll say after it? Read all about it. This is one of the biggest tricks. Extra, extra. Read all about it. And then they'll say things like, or statements like, chew up the meat, spit out the bone. You understand that? Okay, so then the bone will be what? Extra. Okay, so if the bone is extra, do we need the extra? No, we don't. So then why would we be sitting here wasting our time reading about all this extra shit, extra, extra, read all about it? Who is in charge of this misdirection tactic? Who's in charge? Who wants us to read all this extra shit? Who sets up the platform where we're scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling? All this other stuff is nonsense, extra, irrelevant, has absolutely nothing to do with our growth. They'll try to say the algorithm bends to what you're interested in. Yeah, only slightly, because then they throw stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with your niche. You see what I'm saying? That gets thrown in there. So who's responsible? That's another good question. Because once you start asking questions like that, you start realizing, first of all, not only who's responsible, where is my responsibility? My responsibility exists at the center of, I don't have to be here. I don't have to pick this newspaper up, or this newspaper, as I call it. I don't have to pick this newspaper up so I can hang on there every word. No, I can walk and go on about my business. Literally about my business. When you see people like Jesus in the Bible, I'm about my Father's business. You see, that's a serious thing. And you don't waste your life away. So when somebody gets to talking to you, they want extra, 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 read all about it and all this other stuff. No, you're not falling for that. You're not falling for the gibberish. You're not falling for any of the decorative lingo or the decorative language when people just want to make stuff look colorful, and especially in the spiritual conscious community. It's your time to wake up. Stop falling for all that decorative language. Stop falling for the house look pretty on the outside. Ask them to show you pictures of the inside. When you want to get a house, somebody say you cooking. You didn't type it, but you said it. When you want to get a house or a home and you want to live in it, this is going to be your place of residence, your domicile. You don't ask the landlord, okay, or the owner to just send you a whole bunch of pictures of the shutters, all right, or the porch, or the backyard and the trees. You're like, we'll take it. Y'all know what you're doing. Not only do y'all look at the pictures, what you still want to do? A walkthrough. You want to touch stuff, tweak it, see, tap it. You know what I'm saying? You want to do all of that. You want to see if it's stable. You want to see if the living conditions are proper. You with me? If you have improper living conditions, it's a problem. But notice, they always say, go within. Go within, go within, go within, go within, go within. And we say, okay, let's go within you. They say, not there. Go everywhere else but within me. No, you open your home. You open your doors. Let's see. Open your windows. Let's see what's inside. Let's see what's going on. And when we test those waters, they say, yo, take a few pictures of your room. You talking about this, that, and the third. Don't nobody need to have no bed, da da da, whoop de whoop, and you got a big ass bed sitting there. Don't get no bed. We lay on the floor because we come from the ancestors. Big ass bed. Yo, what's this right here? That's a bed, right? Don't eat food. All we need to eat is sunlight. What's that right there? This is a video of you in your house eating chips, right? You understand? Open up that house. So we're not falling for the decorative language. We don't want to see what shit look like on the outside decoration. I don't give a damn if we walk in and you done painted over the holes. I'm touching every part of the wall to make sure that this is actually paint and not some little paper sheet that's been placed over a big ass hole. You understand what I'm explaining to you? You have to do that with every idea. You have to do that with every notion, every concept, anything that's being introduced to you, especially when somebody talking about they finna guide you or lead you some motherfucking way. So we're not dealing with that. We're not dealing with that. All that cop-out lingo, like I was just telling you, to go within, that's cop-out lingo. Just remember that. When people are talking, especially when you see it with me, because you're going to see a lot of it in the future, okay? When people are talking to me and I ask them a question and I answer, you got to go within, that's the answer, you got to go within. That's a cop-out. Remember when Isis Wisdom was running around telling people that the Georgia Guidestones was blown up by the galactic ancestors? I didn't know which direction, this is what my head was doing. I didn't know which direction of buffoonery to address first. She said galactic. I said, okay, let's go over here right now and deal with it. Ancestors. I said, what the fuck is happening? And they said, listen, she said they blew up the Georgia Guidestones with a blue plasma bomb ray, some shit. I said, what the hell? And then you look at the video and it was blue light already on the screen. So when the shit blew up, she said, you see, that's the blue beam. No, that's the exposure and saturation increasing in the video. From the explosion, there was no blue beam. Everybody got mad at me, said, why you do her like that? I didn't do her, she did her like that. First of all, what happened to CERN? We were supposed to have demons and all kind of stuff, all this other stuff. Remember that? That was an interesting year. And a lot of that's been happening since then. Remember, the superpowers never came, or we can get into that. We'll probably have to do a whole nother one on the false prophets or the wannabe fortune tellers, whatever you want to call it. So we had to deal with that. This is a galactic answer. Wrong. So I asked her, though. I said, let me not judge, because maybe I'm too smart for my own good. I asked her, I put it in the comments. I said, which galactic ancestors? I had to help. I had to play a lot. I didn't know where to start. I couldn't say what are galactic ancestors because now it's like I'm in dangerous territory already to even be asking. But no, when I said which galactic ancestors, her response was, you got to go within. I'm not going to give y'all these. I'm like, that took longer to type. You could have just said that was BJ and them. Okay, well then, thank you. Yeah, that was Tyrone and Kevin and them. That was Melisha and them. Okay, Melisha, thank you, Melisha. I don't have time to keep giving you no explanations. All of y'all have to go within and do some deep diving and shadow. But man, damn. Why it always take so long for them to give me a fucking answer? It's just a simple answer, but the go within wasn't gonna work. That was too fucking simple. And I'm not simple. That was simple stupid. So listen, go within is a cop-out. So watch now. When you start seeing people do what I'm telling you, now you're going to see why the fuck I be like sitting there like that when people be talking to me. Y'all going to realize why the fuck I be looking off in space when I be on these live streams with niggas. You going to realize why the fuck I just be like disappearing, or I'll be in a swivel chair and I'll just... Y'all be listening for the wrong shit. Y'all don't be hearing my wheels rolling. Okay, that's when I have to literally distance myself from the idiot that just said whatever the fuck they said. I have to distance. I said, it smell like bullshit. And I have to distance myself from that smell. I'm telling you what it is. So when you see people say, that's a cop-out. When people say, yo, you can feel it. How do you know that? Oh, I just go back based off of what I feel. I don't got to know it. Cop-out. You want to know another cop-out? This is one of my favorite ones. They'll say this. They say this to me a lot. It's too deep for you. It's too deep. You ain't gonna understand it. It's too deep. Another one that's the too deep's cousin. Those y'all already know. Those basically the girls who get it, get it. Those who get it, get it. I said, what the fuck? Here go another one. This is in the same family. It ain't, it ain't for everybody. Y'all know that one. Come on now. This is what they always use because they don't have the answers. You ain't got the answers, Sway. It ain't for everybody. All of these are cop-outs. You want to know what else people got? Because they got the cop-outs and there's something else. I call this steroid speech. Nigga said what? You heard what the fuck I said. Steroid speech. You know what steroids is, right? Y'all remember them days when they had to keep testing niggas because niggas was getting too big out of no motherfucking way. They want to compete in the sports and shit. Okay, you know what steroids is for? Steroids mean you ain't got the muscle. Steroids means you ain't got the muscle. Right? That's steroids. Let's go ahead and put that in there. Steroids. You ain't got the muscle for real. You ain't got the muscle for real. You feel what I'm saying? But it's gonna make it look like you got the muscle. That's steroid. You wanna know what some steroids for y'all ready? Well, I can hear that y'all already. You ain't typing it, but I can literally, like, nigga, what's the steroid? We wanna know this. Okay, so here goes some of the steroid speech. Put a little muscle. Okay, that's muscle. Just accept it. Just accept it. All right, here go the steroid speech. One of the steroid speeches is they'll do shit like, God said. You want to know why people use steroid speech? Because they ain't got the muscle. So they don't feel like if they say something that is powerful enough by itself. So they can't be like, yo, it's time to come in. Right? They got to be like, God said it's time to. You know, y'all used to do that when y'all was little. Hear what y'all used to say. This is a special one. Y'all knew your siblings weren't going to listen to what the fuck you said. When you say, yo, clean up your room. They ain't finna clean up their room. And you don't want to get in trouble because the house got to be clean. So what you told them with your sneaky ass? We know you said it. You ain't think I was there. You said, mama said, clean up the room. And a lot of times your sibling don't know no better, so they can say they don't want to get in trouble with mama, so they gonna do whatever the fuck mama said. Guess who they talking about now? They say Big Mama. They just say Big Mama said this. Big Mama mad. Big Mama said this. Big Mama wants you to pay for this. Big Mama. Big Mama done said the same shit over and over again sometimes. Why? Because they got to nail the point. You see, something is being sold. So they need characters. They need ideas. So they'll say, Mama said this, Big Mama said this, God said this. And when Big Mama ain't home, Mama ain't around, and God done this to fuck the beard, guess what they say? They say divine. They just put it on divine. Divine. They'll use words like divine said. Okay? They'll say the ancestors. That's another steroid speech or steroid speak. The ancestors. Who the fuck is them? Say the ancestors. We got to do a whole lesson on that, right? Or a whole degree on that. The ancestors. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make much sense you think it's been making. It's too slow. You got to speed that up. And then when they run out of all those, they'll say the source. And nigga, when they realize you ain't buying it, when they get to the source, they done went from God, Mama, Big Mama, Divine, the ancestors, the source. They'll say, nigga, fuck it, Simon. They'll say Simon says. You be like, you got a point there. You got me there. That's the only time they gonna get niggas to move when they don't woke the fuck up. You gotta use Simon. You can't use this same stupid ass shit y'all been trying to run game on motherfuckers with for long brand, nigga. You see? So that's what I'm telling you. Pay attention to steroid speech. They don't feel. Somebody tried to hit me with this recently. Right? They got on my line. They were like, my guy. I said, ain't no my guy. You just made a video trying to disrespect me. What was going on with that? What's happening? Nigga said, well, I really want to say this, but you know, the ancestors is mad, but I ain't finna put them on the spot right now, but they mad at you. I said, the ancestors? And that nigga thought I was finna pass up the opportunity to hear what the fuck the ancestors had to say to me. I said, nigga, look, I need you to let me know what the fuck they said. But they mad. So the fuck what? Let me know what they mad at just said about me. Well, I ain't even gonna do all that. They got a message for you, but I ain't gonna get. You gonna stand in the way of the ancestors? Well, no, yeah, exactly. Now the more you speak, now you sound stupider. So go ahead, keep talking. Because now, while you talking, I got my doctor in the back running your file cabinet. We finna pull up, nigga, you been doing steroids. Them ain't real muscles. Them ain't no real muscles. The ancestors is mad. If somebody else came on and said, God told me about you, they thought I was finna pass up the opportunity. What the fuck this nigga God done said about me? I said, oh, did he? I said, you mean the Most High done said some shit about me? The Most High that created the entire universe, the creator. Every time I started adding on the layer of who she was talking about, she started growing less and less confident in her statement. Every time I went into it, I said, you mean the source of all creation, the God of Abraham, Moses, Joseph? She said, no, this is basically my opinion. I said, well, you bear false witness. Go ahead and get out my life. You got the last word. You understand that? So that goes for everybody. I don't give a damn if you in the church and a nigga say God said, don't believe it. Matter of fact, that's your initial thought. Your initial thought. When anybody says anything to you, especially if they call themselves a teacher, guru, spiritual leader, podcast position holder, because that's how a lot of these niggas got their position. They just brought a lot of niggas on to speak and do the numbers for them. They don't even talk. They just say some shit, ask them some shit, tell people, yeah, man, tell us what your book is. Da da da. And the niggas just run their mouth. And they built up their platform on it. Whoever the fuck, whatever they say, your initial thought is, I do not believe it. Don't believe anybody. Whatever they say, I don't believe it. That's your initial thought. You want to know why? Because some of the scientific studies show that when people hear an idea, their first initial thought is to believe it. You're not common. Okay? Or if you want to be, that's your choice. I'm not. I don't believe what the fuck anybody tell me. My first thought is, this is full of shit. If you don't want that, don't do it. My initial thought is bullshit. And then I take on the scientific method myself. I ask a question. I say, is this motherfucker for real? That's are they for real? That's my first question. All right. And then I go and test it. I form a hypothesis after I did a little research on my question. I said, okay, let me see if I know what I'm talking about. Because excuse the fuck out of me. You know what I'm saying? God forbid I'm wrong. All right, so let me see if I know what I'm talking about. Okay, well then let me do my hypothesis. Let me take this through an experiment. Let me see. And let me ask niggas around me. And you don't have to do that in a long, drawn out process. Sometimes somebody could say some shit so fucked up to you. You can do all that in a split second, including look around. Say, did you hear what the fuck this nigga just said to me? Your initial thought, though, needs to automatically be no. That's your initial thought right there. No. And then they only get a yes from you after you done finish the scientific method. So everybody's homework is to go in and study what is the scientific method. Remember they used to teach us that in school? Okay, we need to use it. I've been using that shit my whole life. It works. Use it. The scientific method. That's how you got the phone you got. That's how you got the microwave. That's how you got lights. That's how you got all kind of stuff. Everything that you're looking at in the scientific method. All these products and electricity running through and water, all the scientific method. Somebody went in with that question and figured it out at the end. Say, nigga, this shit work. So your initial thought, nigga, that shit don't work. And you need to prove yourself wrong. It don't even become about them anymore because you just told me some shit. Now it's about me. So they say, nigga, that shit don't work, and you go and see. Some niggas say, if you drink some of this lemonade, you ain't gonna be thirsty with the cotton out right now. I say, nigga, that shit don't work. Well, I'll be goddamn. Well, I'll be goddamn. This nigga's a motherfucking prophet. Then you can say that. You understand? That's what my point is. So, again, steroid speech, avoid it. Cop-out lingo, avoid it. It doesn't work. It's not useful, okay? You should be using this formula here. Here go your formula. Test. You want to know what this shit stand for? It stand for test. They say you used the word in the act. I do what the fuck I want to do. Test every, right? Here you go. Test every spirit. Goddamn, test every spirit Thoroughly. Shit. We figured it out. Test every spirit thoroughly. I knew the test was there. I said, damn, but I'm kind of about the T. Totally. I like that. Test every spirit totally. Shit. That's your formula. Truly, if you want to say it, if you like it. Test every spirit truly. Test every spirit today. And tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Y'all good got to just do this shit today. What? Shit. Test every spirit. Totally, today, truly, tomorrow, thoroughly, nigga. Test every spirit, Tony. I don't give a damn. Tony gonna think I've made his own shit for him. Test every, that's your shit, test. Test it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. That's one of the ways you can detect it. You gotta test it. If you want to detect, you gotta test. You see, here's what you can do. All right, we getting into it now. Make sure I told y'all, make sure I got y'all questions too, because we getting into that last little 30 minutes. Here's what you can do. You have focus. All right? This is a magnifying glass. So use focus as a magnifying glass. Okay? When somebody says some shit, if they start speaking in your direction or you supposed to be picking up on it, you got your focus. It's a magnifying glass. But what are you looking for? When you got a magnifying glass, you're supposed to be magnifying some shit so that you can see it more or clearer. What are you looking for? You're looking for a point. You're looking for the center. Always. You see that? So when somebody's speaking, you need to be searching. Okay? Sooner they get to opening their mouth, start searching. And then after they done talking, you go back and you search again. Like we just talked about what re was, I think in Last Shadows or last night's class. You start researching, you search again. You go back and look into what they just said, whatever it is they gave you or offered you. You search it again, you research, and you keep researching, you keep searching, keep researching, and you research to the point of application. That's a part of it. You see, I'm explaining to you. That's one of the ways. And that's how you get to test. Say, did this nigga just word salad me? Another thing you could do is you employ, okay, because it's like saying activate, okay, or put in motion. Employ active listening. Work on that. Active listening ain't something you do just to win people over. A lot of people using that for the negative. I don't know how they got to that point. Active listening is used to protect you also. When somebody talking to you, you use active listening, you know whether or not they're manipulating you or they're gaslighting you or they're deflecting or whatever you want to call it these days. Okay? You use active listening, you can hear like the mother. You'll hear the baby crying. Everybody in the room didn't even hear the baby. But the mother is actively listening, and there's a point of importance that that mother has, which is that extension of self, the baby, the child. You understand? And she's connected to it, and she can hear it, but she's also activated because she knows she needs to listen out for that. Okay, so then you need to have the ear of a mother. You see what I'm saying? Let's put that. You need to have the ear of a mother. You need to be able to hear everything. Be able to hear the giggle, be able to hear the gargle. I don't give a damn. You hear everything. You see? So when somebody pauses, you need to know what that means, which means you need to study speech. I think everybody, I know everybody would benefit from taking public speaking classes, even if it's online. You can benefit from taking public speaking. You should literally know what certain things mean. If somebody says to you something how I'm saying it now, you will know the difference between a stall and a creative pause. And you'll know why they're being used. Because a creative pause could be done unintentionally. However, if it's being done intentionally, this person not only has a motive that you need to be figuring out about, okay, this person may also have an advantage on the crowd they're speaking to because if they know what a creative pause is, then they also may know all these other different public speaking tips psychology tips, all of that. You see what I'm explaining to you? And you'll also be able to pinpoint where someone's brain is using a filler. Okay? So, like, if I say, like, if you think like how so many people like come in and they're like positioned and they're like listening to me on this live right now, and it's like so many people that, you know, like do all this other stuff. So you like think about how many times I'm saying like. And if I'm not aware of how many times I'm saying like, okay, then I may also not be aware of how many words I'm not using, which means that every time I'm using like, there's a pause. Because this registers in the subconscious as a filler to the listener. So that's so many different spaces and times where I could have been filling it up with useful words or creative pauses, meaningful pauses. But I didn't. I used fillers that were pauses with no substance. You see what I'm explaining to you? Everybody needs to study that. Study it, because you will see how many people don't study it. And because they don't study it, guess what they end up doing? They serve a big bowl of word salad. I just showed you a small degree. You can study all that by yourself. We do a class on it. They serve you a big bowl of word salad because they lack the awareness of public speaking or just speaking etiquette. They lack the awareness of how to convey or relay an idea effectively. Okay? To the point where now they're attempting to make it seem as though if you know how to communicate, somehow you're not doing the right thing. If you know how to communicate and you know what words mean, somehow that's a bad thing now. Don't worry, it's not. It's just that somehow is expressed there because a lot of people are starting to buy into that because they have a lazy mentality. It's a habit where they say they already don't want to study. So now, because it's becoming a norm in that community to not know shit, and then you got leaders that are coming in and reinforcing that not knowing shit them, oh yeah, they're going to be happy about that. They'll be elated. We're not. We just keep moving. You see? So watch out for that. When people don't have the public speaking under wraps, they'll word salad, word salad, word salad, word salad, word salad. And if you're a leader or a guru or a spiritual teacher, why did you not take this into account? Why you just came out here just start talking? Because the Spirit of God told you to do so? Well, tell the Spirit of God you weren't ready. Because I was told to test every spirit and it don't seem like you're ready. You're speaking words that are coming back void. Take a little more time. I understand why you use it. You use word salad because you have limited information. It's okay. Go get some more information on that subject. Because maybe I can ask you something that you're familiar with, or we talk about something you're familiar with, and then it's your time to speak. You won't have to word salad. You'll have all the right words for that because you're familiar with it. And you don't have to feel, and you don't have to load gaps up with nonsense. You don't have to overcompensate. Overcompensation. That's what a lot of people do it for. Limited information, overcompensation. What else? Insecurity. Insecurity, which takes you to that whole ego conversation. People are defending their ego. Why? Because the ego, what is the ego? Let's talk about it simply. Okay, because we can come here and do a whole class on the ego. A lot of these topics are classes. Ego is self-view, but it's also the world's view of self. Okay, all is a matter of psychology. Okay? You have your self-view and the world's view of self. So if you're talking in phase one on the live, all right, or there's supposed to be some type of debate or you're confronting him or whatever it is, and then everything that you thought was so advanced that you were hitting him with, he could shut it down with something that's super simple like Dr. Malachi York taught him how to do. Okay, and now you're like, oh, you don't even know where to go. You have to start switching, okay? And your last resort is that word salad. If you don't do the ad hominem, all this other stuff that comes with it, your last resort is that word salad because you're really just protecting your ego. It's primitive. That's a part of your self-preservation instincts. It's a primitive instinct. You understand that? So a lot of people talk about they so ascended and beyond and all this other stuff. That's another thing. When people start using all these extra prepositions and shit like that, beyond and above and all this other stuff, that's a part of the word salad. Well, a lot of people talk about it, I'm beyond 5D. You don't even know what 5D is, how you get beyond it. But you people do it, is all this stuff is wrapped up in the ego. People are attempting to place barriers between themselves and the truth. They're trying to place barriers to block it out. But they don't understand the truth just blasts through all of that. And eventually you end up exposed anyway, so you might as well expose yourself now. And what do you expose yourself to? Not just why do you expose yourself or what do you expose yourself for? What do you expose yourself to? The truth. Stop trying to fight it. It ain't going to help. Deal with it truthfully. Say, this is the truth. I didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I should never stepped up like my ego got in the way. A lot of people said it. Smoke the Creator did her live when she went and all the people was, and made the video about me, and she had to take it down because she said she was wrong about 607, all of this stuff. And she came back and said she was going to get it right. And, she wasn't listening. Her ego was in the way, and she should have seen that I was telling the truth, all of that. Okay, then the ego was present. Now, how can somebody double back on that again? They weren't ready to face the truth. Maybe the blunt had them, or the cigarette had them, or the meal that they were eating, whatever, had them thinking that they were ready, but then that high wore off, and the soberness was painful. They had to deal with the truth. The truth ain't going to conform to your belief system. It's not going to do anything but challenge you. And if you're talking about, I want to ascend, I want to be better, I want to understand, okay, the truth going to start showing up knocking. And you're going to have to show and prove that not to anybody else, but to yourself in truth. So ego can push people to do that. All that vain verbiage, right? Is another phrase for you. Vain verbiage. That's just ego. People saying stuff and they don't really mean it. It's just ego. You see? And it's because people do truly want to be fulfilled. They want to be filled up fulfilled. They want to be filled up fully. Okay, they want to be, but they don't want to do the work to get to that point. They'll start making noise. You want to know what that saying is? I'll give it to you. Empty vessels make the most noise. Empty vessels. You start beating on a barrel, you see it is filled up with dirt, it ain't going to make that much noise. You see what I'm saying? But if it's empty, it'll ring out. You see? Empty vessels make the most noise. And the noise there is just another way of saying jargon, like I was telling y'all about, or conjecture or whatever. It's just noise. A lot of the time it's noise. You don't really get something from it. But it might feel good while you're enduring it, or it might feel good while you're experiencing it. But in reality, nothing is truly coming from it that you can gain and use for yourself. You understand? So it's not for consumption. When people talk about word salad is not good for consumption. You can listen to it if you want to, but once you realize that's what it is, don't consume what they're saying. That's going to help you also. When I told y'all earlier about being able to stay on the point, no matter what somebody's saying, and you won't be swayed or moved. You say, FaZe, how you got all this composure? This person done targeted you, said all this, you got patience, that. I know the point. I have a point. And I know this person doesn't have a point. So my intention is to not only maintain the point, yet also show them what the point is. And also show them how to do what I just did, which was to maintain a point. Maybe that'll benefit them, and it'll benefit other people that whoever I'm speaking about, is able to go out and those actions that they go and do and all this, it rubs out on other people. That same principle of staying with your point. What is the point? So I don't care. You can call me a bitch. You can call me a hoe. You can call me this. You can call me fake. You can call me got a fake soul. All this other stuff people done said. You say whatever. And at the end, I know the point. I know where we're going. You can say this. Man, you used to be like this. I'll hit you with a question. When? I just did that recently. Nigga said, yeah, man, because you used to be like this. That's how you used to be. When? Well, I don't be watching you like, no, you made a statement. When? I'm telling you, here go the most dangerous weapon of all time. Also, the most effective method of defense of all time. That right there. This right here will destroy a Tourette. This right here can defeat a tank. That right there, you can't hit it with a nuke. It ain't a nuke is no challenge for that. That is the most dangerous weapon of all. And they don't like, who is they? They, the deceivers, do not like to be questioned because their statement was meant to put you in that state. And when you don't, oh, somebody said you cooked. I'm going to write that down. Write that down. Their statement was meant to put you in a particular state. And if you don't buy it, whatever they selling, oh, they gonna hate it. But that's great. You understand? It's better to be despised by fools and be wise than to be a fool despised by the wise. Listen to me. I'm pretty wise. You understand that? So word salad, again, no good. Not good for consumption, no matter what they try to say. You want to know what word salad is? It's display food. It's the shit we used to eat when we were little, which we didn't eat. Remember when we had the toys and we was sitting there shh, making the stove sound? That's not a real stove, right? And we cooking and we played restaurant. I mean, y'all played restaurant. I played restaurant, right? We cooking. You got the chef. You know what I mean? You got the waiter. People get their order, da-da-da, and you'll wait for the food. Sometimes you ain't had nothing but a plate, depending on how deep you was in the hood. But you did what you did, and you played, and it was no real food. That's word salad. Y'all think I'm playing. I prepared something for y'all today. Think I'm playing. I told y'all, those of y'all who part of the Telegram group, didn't I tell you, bring your damn appetite? I got a menu for you. I got a menu. Welcome to Spiritual Word Salad, nigga. Welcome to Spiritual Word Salad. Also, please donate. We are building an online school for the people. All right. Now, we got something special on the menu for y'all today. Y'all make sure y'all get comfortable. All right. We got Conch's Bunches. Conch's Bunches. Yes, exactly how it sounds. And it is composed of crystal seasoning. Okay, that's pretty good. Chakra sauce, which is also tasty. We got some copper chicken that we threw in there, some copper chicken, which is also very yummy. Okay, some kundalini zucchini. If you never tried it, it's pretty good. We also put in some abundant onion. Okay, abundant onion. If you never had abundant onion, you just had it tonight. You're gonna try it. So it's also very delectable. Okay, and we also added in a side of spirit soup. Okay, which is pretty pleasing. Okay, and this is how it looks. This is how it looks. That's our main dish for the night. So everything else you can imagine. But this is how it looks. And you guys, what about our drinks? You thought I was gonna leave out the drinks? I got your drinks. Ether tea. No, not either. You can't have whatever you want. It's ether. Ether tea. Pyramid punch. We also have our channel coffee, which is pretty good. It comes from different realities. 5D lemonade. Okay. We also have Third Eye milk, which is yummy. Stargate smoothie, which is pretty smooth. It comes from a Stargate. We have Astro Latte. Astro Latte. Astro Latte. If you're not careful, that will become a spiritual word. Astro Latte. I'm not chosen, I'm Astro Latte. Chosen Kool-Aid, speaking of, which is pretty good. You know, we don't put sugar in it. We just put etheric cubes that come from the E8th dimension. Quasi-cubes. We put quasi-cubes in our chosen Kool-Aid. We're the first ones to do it. We got divine wine on there. Divine wine. So y'all need to get y'all some of this divine wine. I'll tell you, that sounds like some shit your elder come in and they say, man, listen, we got some divine wine. Hey, man, hey, OG, what you see this? Man, we drinking on that divine wine. You don't know nothing about that, young buddy. You know, divine wine. And we got some reflection cider. There's no actual cider, but if you look at it when it's in the mirror, you'll see it. And you can imagine drinking it. You can literally imagine drinking it. Okay, so here goes some of the side course meals. We got higher selfie. Okay, we got vibration station, we got Zen twin, we got ego death splitter. It's pretty yummy. Sophia Greek salad. Come on now, you don't want to play around. Ancestor Fiesta. It's a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? Ancestor Fiesta. You can imagine. Sacred Yoni Boni. Sacred Yoni Boni. You know what I'm saying? It's a pretty good one. It's a little more on the wet side, but it's still pretty good. Orabo. Horrible, nigga. It ain't what it sounds like. I know it kind of sounds like it's horrible. No, not horrible. Horrible. Okay, good. I should probably change that. Horrible. I didn't think about that. Cosmic grain. It's another pretty good salad. It's kind of yummy. And for the children, go play. Because we don't got shit for y'all. Don't it? Don't it? Because what the fuck? What's going on for the children? Go play. Go play yo play. That's what it is. Go play yo play. Go play yo. It's some yoga. They can have some yoga. Some go play yo play. Shh, go ahead and screenshot it. You're gonna need it. Go ahead. Oh, here go your bowl right here. Here go your bowl right here. Here go you're gonna need that too. You're gonna walk away. It's gonna look exactly the same. Go ahead and screenshot it. Go ahead and screenshot that. Spiritual word salad. They're gonna make you. Okay. So, without further ado, spiritual. Y'all want to know recipes? Somebody said recipe. What's a recipe? How can I make my own spiritual? I thought you never asked. All you need. Here goes a secret recipe. And then we gonna get some questions. Secret recipe for spiritual word salad. SWS was secret recipe for spiritual word salad. All you need is 1/2 cup of goddamn miscontextualization. Miscontextualization. Look at it. 1/2 cup of miscontextualization. You gotta throw. If you don't, it ain't gonna work. 1 teaspoon of a faulty premise. Okay? Because if you're making sense, what the fuck is you doing this for? you making sense, you might as well cook real food. The fuck is you doing? If you're nonsensical, then yeah, you're in the right place. 1 teaspoon of a faulty premise. We're looking for y'all. If y'all can do these, any of y'all who can make these types of salads, we're hiring. Okay? You need about 2 tablespoons. Y'all can tell I don't cook. I'm running out of shit to say. 2 tablespoons of goddamn, what? Deflection. 2 tablespoons of deflection. If you ain't got no deflection in it, I don't want it. Deflection is like the salt. Okay? You gotta have, somebody give me you gotta have, what's some other shit? You got the cup, you got the teaspoon, tablespoon. I just say a little bit. A little bit. A little bit of pathos. You gotta have you some pathos. If you ain't got no pathos in that motherfucker, come on now. Pathos is like emotional shit. Or you can throw some logos in there too, some logos. You can throw some ethos in there. But mostly pathos. You gotta be like, oh shit, this nigga cooking me. Let me be like, I love you. That's the best. Listen, that's seasoned like a motherfucker. That's damn near better than salt if you ain't careful. You know what I mean? Also, you can have a beaker. Nigga said a beaker. A beaker of pointlessness. Just have a little beaker of it. I don't know how much. Just whatever the shit holds. Just fill it up. Fill it up. Fill it up to the top. A beaker of pointlessness. Oh, you already cooking. You already cooking. What's one of the main ingredients? He cooking you. So try to cook him. Add hominem. I don't know how to fucking measure the shit, so just put it in there. I done ran out. I don't be in the kitchen. Yeah, I know it'll be some cups, teaspoons, tablespoons. I was just finna start a bowl. A bowl. You need about 1/4. I remember they put fractions on it. 1/4 bowl of ad hominem. Just start measuring it with everything. I don't give a damn. 1/4 bowl of ad hominem. Attack the nigga. Go at the nigga. Don't say nothing about what the fuck he just said. You can sprinkle the goddamn some idioms, put some idioms, some expressions that don't fucking mean shit for real. Add some adjectives. Yes, nigga, adjectives, not objective, adjectives, adjectives. Add some adjectives to that motherfucker. And one more thing, I just say, put put misdirection. Put misdirection in that motherfucker. Put misdirection in there. Here goes a salad. There you go. Hey, screenshot it. Don't ever say I ain't give you nothing. Okay? The only instruction is mix all that shit up, throw all that shit together. You know what I'm saying? Beat to consistent. I don't know. That shit sound abusive. Just mix all that shit up. Beat to consistent. Beat till it's consistent. I can't remember this from my grandmama. I don't know what the hell they used to be doing. Just know you put it all together, it's gonna be what it gotta be. And then, yeah, basically, word salad. Any questions? I don't believe it. Any questions? Y'all gonna be sick of me. I was like, we gotta deal with this shit every day. Y'all gonna be sick of me. I had to give me another notebook, damn. Does profanity play a role into word salad? I'm sure it does. Most of the time, when you see motherfuckers out here cussing shit, you know what I'm saying? They probably word salad. What else? A dash of blame on the mama. My mama told me, hell yeah, gotta put the mama blame. How you liking it over here on YouTube? Nigga, that ain't no question about what the hell. You just word salad to me. That mean he ain't even had no questions about how you like it on YouTube. See, there go his example right there. It's pretty cool though. I fuck with it over here. Nigga just use the word salad right then and there. Come on now, a few more questions. Beat to desired consistency. Exactly. Again, that shit sound abusive than a motherfucker. I ain't gonna hold you. You gonna beat somebody till they consistent. That shit, that's damn near our childhood. That's what our parents did. They beat us to consistency. Did I tell you take out the trash? Eventually, you just take it out of the trash. You just trained. Tamed and trained. That's all we had to do. That's all we had to go through. Mama striarchy, hell yeah. All that matriarchy shit. These people don't know what they talking about. They just run to their mouth. You don't mean that. You just run to your mouth like you always do. Thank you for the YouTube live. Thank y'all for tapping in. Oh, Any other question? Real question though, y'all, for real. Filler words to taste, for sure. Y'all notice the sky getting closer. We can talk about that another time. Leather belts. Yeah, for sure. I don't say this to impress you, but to impress upon you. Old guy no runs that line daily. What line? My folks tried to beat the system into me. Yeah, for sure. They tried to do that with all of us. We went through the same. All of us had the same parents. I'm 26. If you from my generation, we had the same parents. You forgetting the most important ingredients, fake downloads. We gonna have to do a whole class on fake downloads. What's your process to sticking to your mission throughout all the bullshit you encounter? Having one. Having a mission. You know, soldiers, they have missions because they're soldiers. They have missions. A lot of people don't have missions. They're not soldiers. You see how they go one hand in hand? I'm on a mission. I'm a soldier. So, it's a part of it. I have a mission. That's how I get it. I know where I'm going. It's definite. It's not going to sway. I'm not going to drift. That's how you do it. You actually have to have a mission. That's where you start. A lot of people that like, some money came and switched them up. No, money ain't going to change you. Money can't switch you up. Nobody can't offer you no money or no opportunity like y'all seen 607 on just try to do. Like, oh, I want to work with you. I'm going to give you some money. I'm going to pay you, gang. I said, nigga, I don't think you understand what I said. No. I don't want to work with you. No, it's not happening. Simple. That's why a lot of people should have paid attention even then and say, damn, this nigga phase one turned out some money, but he just said, oh, he care about his money. Then he should have jumped on the money, right? I don't give a fuck. Nigga don't offer me millions. I don't care about no money. You're not going to be able to offer me billions of dollars to do anything that goes against my mission. Nigga, like billions, I'll take billions. You would take billions. We are not the same. You're not a soldier. You understand? You wearing that soldier uniform, but it ain't even a real one. You got on one of them bulletproof vests that you get from the Macy's, but that's not a real bulletproof vest. You see what I'm saying? You're not really at war with a little water gun. So I'm not jumping on no money. I don't care nothing about no money, no opportunity, no none of that. If it doesn't align with what it is that my mission entails. You understand? Does that answer your question? So was the mission given to you or created by you? I don't know how I could have created the mission. It was decided. You know, like when they say this is your mission, if you so choose to accept, it was decided. I accepted it. So then it became my own. Ye lost his billions so fast and got it back faster. That nigga got the shit back so fast, I'm like it didn't happen. You know how you lose $20 and you got to go work and wait for the paycheck, all this shit to come back? No, that nigga lost billions, was patted his pocket and said, I'm gonna go get some more. You don't just go get some more billions. That nigga's not regular. The fuck? Nigga say, nigga, did this nigga just reload his billions? This whole time, you know how many generations my family, if we put a few of my generation together, we ain't hit one. That nigga reloaded his billions on a Saturday. That nigga said, I can't be having no billions. That nigga said, fuck it, got right back. And they weren't even done typing the article. So Ye is now still a billionaire. That nigga was quick. That nigga got his billions so fast. That nigga said, what was said? Oh. Then he got more billions. It's almost like he didn't lose shit. Like, where the other ones went? Don't matter. I added them back. I found them. I tracked them down. I sold to the people who had the money, and I got them exact same dollars back. 100 dimes by 100 dimes. Because you're not going to just play with me. You're not going to just shut me down because I am not going for it. I'm a billionaire. That nigga said, what the fuck? I ain't never seen no nigga pat his pockets on some billions and get that shit back. You lose your wallet, it's over with. Hood got it. And he came and went to the OG and said, can I have my wallet? And got it back. You think bro real though or a plant? I don't know nothing about all that extra shit. I don't got time for all that. I don't know. It could be real. That could be like, that could be, you know how many times you have to, Kanye West or Ye jeans probably done activated 1,000,000 times, bro. His clones be going rogue. They probably done had to kill a few of the clones. Nigga, y'all, this shit don't even make no difference. Like, Ye is a clone. He's still speaking out against the government and he's a clone? Bro, that clone don't work. They done made a clone and nigga went rogue again. Clone popped out with a whole fucking swastika and all kind of shit. I said, damn, what did we do? Nigga came out worse. Shit. Are they ever going to release Dr. York? Who is they? I was just saying I don't like being programmed. You are programmed. Everything is a program, family. Program is not a negative word. Everything is a program. Kanye West app would have changed the game. I don't know, bro. I don't think people leave Instagram. People be saying all that shit. We want a melanin dominant app. Then nigga make it. And don't nobody even look at it. Can you just look at it? Can you just look at it? I don't want to look at it. Nigga done made all kind of nigga apps, bro. It's just a lot of nigga apps just floating around. Would you like to develop the app? Yeah, niggas. We be trying to do that. I don't think niggas ain't leaving Instagram, bro. They got this shit locked down, bro. Instagram is niggas' life. TikTok, all that shit is like Instagram and them cousin. But Instagram, that main nigga, like everybody know. You know what I'm saying? Niggas done made apps. Why y'all be acting like they don't do that? They still be doing it. There's so much shit going on, bro. The ones who have been holding him captive. I don't know. You got to talk to them or whatever they think they going to do. I like them FaZe and B-Dell collabs. That's what's up. Shout out to B-Dell. If you make an app teaching the truth, they will come. What truth? Teaching what truth, bro? Like, you know there's an app that be teaching the truth? It called Google, but niggas don't use it. Google, I'm not saying it's a last resort, but Google do be saying some true shit. Like, the shit be true. Even AI be saying some true shit. They make apps that teach the truth. You'll actually get a lot more out of AI than you get out of these gurus and spirit niggas and all the people. AI be actually making sense. B-Dell and FaZe, yeah, for sure. Billy Carson has a, what is it called? Don't lie, real quick, don't lie, what it's called? Billy Carson got an app, what it's called? And what do it do? Like, what do you do on it? Are superpowers real and how we lock them? It depends on what you mean by power and depends on what you mean by super. Or how we unlock them. What type of superpowers you talking about? A lot of them using AI. Yeah, we about to get out of here. 4 minutes, y'all. Forbidden Knowledge app. I bet. No idea. I downloaded it, never opened it. Why you do that? The fuck? I'm telling y'all, listen, all these people talking about some black business, all this shit, man, y'all know y'all don't be shopping at the motherfucking place. You know what I'm saying? People don't even like black business. They like good business. How you gonna put a color on it? I'm a black-owned business. So, like, the fuck? That don't mean you can serve me, bro. Like, bro, yeah. Support me because I'm black-owned. I don't like your food. But still support. That's not how this works. That's like, only in America it worked that way. That's not how this actually goes, bro. Like, I don't like your food. Grits is nasty. I'm going to Waffle House. Leave me the fuck alone. Shit. You made some good grits, they'll shot with you. There's plenty of people got melanin that they don't. You know how you got a good business and you make good food, you don't gotta say, I'm a black-owned business. Every time people say I'm a black-owned business, you know what that sound like? They put some quarters. That's what that shit sound like. You shaking the cup. I'm a black-owned business. Please. Come on now. Just do your business. Do good business. We don't got that type of mentality. When last time y'all ever heard me? When have you ever heard me say I'm a black-owned artist? Bro, I just do what I do. The hell? It's a black-owned fundraiser. Nigga, ain't nobody got time for that shit. I always say black people are expensive. There's a lot of these companies be expensive. Please, product, thanks. Goddamn, y'all need to start buying shit with y'all eyes closed. Start looking at who handed you the shit. Yeah. I always say, okay, cool. All right, y'all, 2 more minutes. That's it. We'll be back tomorrow. Make sure y'all share it. Make sure y'all, those of y'all who new here, make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all like this video. Okay, share it around. Y'all want me to keep going? Y'all want me to keep doing this? Y'all want me to do this daily, do more classes, more teaching? Okay? All right? Support, you can comment. Comment what you want me to teach on. If you got a question about something, you can comment. I'll see it. It could lead to a whole thing like we just did. See what we got from word salad. So you just type 2 words, nigga. You'll see what I'll do with it. Don't play with me. Did I peep your music? I don't remember. It was written. It don't seem familiar. All right, one more minute. Or you say, can I peep your music? Yeah, get in touch with me. For sure. Or comment a link up under this video. Yeah. Love you, bro. Do more. I love you back. Number and word breakdowns. Definitely a class on ego would be nice. I hear you. Murder the reason your brother left. Oh, you know the lyrics. Come on now. Hey, It's Up was crazy. Performing magic. Okay, I got you. Hadus Ashur, divine love. Who invented God? Okay, we can get to that. So yeah, I'm talking about, y'all don't have to do it in here. I'm saying on the video. After this video, say, okay, he posted it, which I think they do it right after we're done. Go up under the video and comment what y'all want me to do classes on. And get this word out, get the message out that we out here doing the classes, the real classes, get to the real knowledge. And we got to do all the extra theatrics, and then we got a notebook and a pen. All you got to do is focus. That's it. Notebook, pen, focus. I'm going to make jokes. We're going to laugh. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get serious. We're going to go into the stuff, all of that. All right? I love y'all. Peace in the Lamb. It's truly wonderful. I do Sashuk, divine love.